And now, Deborah Kobylt Live.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us today on Deborah Kobylt Live. I have a very exciting show for everyone here today. We've got Danny Simmons, the director and producer of the film Suffer for Good. And it's about the gentleman that we're also going to be talking to today on our show, Seb Zewdie. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining us. I'm very excited to have you both here. And Seb, by the way, is a former Olympic athlete and current Olympic trainer in boxing. So excited to have you. Loved this documentary film. I showed it to half my family. I mean, they just enjoyed it so much. So, gosh, let's start with you, Danny. Tell me about why. Tell me about why you decided to make this wonderful film about Seb. And then we're going to talk to Seb about how you both met.
Yeah, thanks for having us on, Deborah. I chose to make this on Seb because he's just such a charming individual, as you can tell here. He's so sweet, kind, and his story is just it burns off the page, right? He was affected by the Olympic boycott in 1984, and I felt like that his story, just the exposition of it, was fascinating in and of itself, but also how he came to the United States as a political refugee, and then ultimately found his way to Los Angeles, where those 1984 Olympics were held. And I thought, oh my goodness, we gotta do a documentary on you, and he was open to it. So it's kind of like magic, it's sort of like dating someone. Sparks flew right off the bat, and he decided to get back in the ring, and it was just a beautiful experience getting to capture all of those moments and then learn so much about him and his history.
Now, Seb, the two of you met because you were training and teaching over at Sony Pictures. Is that correct? And
yes.
that's where you met Danny, who was working out in the gym there with all the movie stars. And I also want to make sure that our audience knows, you're born in Ethiopia, and that's where your initial training was. And boy, is your story remarkable, is all I can say. Heart-wrenching. And it's about a guy who never gives up. So let's talk about meeting Danny and how that whole thing transpired.
Yeah, when we started, Danny and I, when you started meeting at Sony Pictures, and Danny, he thinks he's a good athlete, and he started working out with me a little bit when I was teaching classes. He joined my group classes, and he not bringing back his arm right away. I started slumping him in his face. Bring it back your arm. You're not fast enough. And he thinks, you're not coordinated well. And he started laughing. He said, you're fast. You're very fast. I can't handle your speed. It's okay. Then we start. And where are you from? He said, I'm from. Are you from Cuba? No, I'm not from Cuba. I'm from Ethiopia. Well, tell me about your story. And I told him about a little bit. You have a very interesting story. I know it's very interesting, but I'd like to, we had a plan to make a documentary movie, but it didn't happen. But, the guy told me he was busy, so he kind of do it. He said, can I do it? Yeah, why not? He came the next day. I was teaching professional fighters. He showed up to the gym, and he started doing it. And it kept going from there, and our chemistry is connected, and we became a friend. And as a family, we built up the connection, and that go through. We ended up here, and also at the same time, my story is I grew up in Ethiopia, born in Addis Ababa, capital city of Ethiopia, and my village was close to my house, close to YMCA, and I used to go YMCA daily basis, and I used to play different sport, ping pong, basketball, and running, and so on and so. And one of the coach told me, his name is Mamo Bayan, he's my hero. And he helped me. Why don't you do, one sport? You're very athletic. I want you to choose one sport that can take you to the Olympic. And I tried running. It's not working for me. Basketball, I'm kind of short. And cycling, it's kind of expensive to buy the equipment. The gear is expensive. So let me try boxing. I continued boxing. And I'm very successful in boxing. I focused in boxing. And since when I was 9 years old, I've been stick with boxing, and I became successful, and I became an Olympic boxer. And
we all know to become successful, you don't just box a day or two a week, right? It's an incredible amount of training for your mind, for your body, for everything. And Danny, I will get you in a second, but I do want to hear from you. What was it like, the daily training in Ethiopia, and how wonderful that the YMCA motivated you originally? I mean, that's great for all the people who donate and volunteer at YMCA's. That's phenomenal, right? Go ahead.
Yeah, it's just really like you say, it's just not easy. It's not it's not comfortable here, like here in the U.S. have an the gears and having all the nutritionists and strength conditioning coaches, and we don't have that. And you are by your own. I mean, I don't have any diets, I eat whatever I have. And after workout, sometimes I don't have enough food even in my table. It's very, very, it's not easy. It was a good challenge during that time because I don't have anywhere to go. I focus on my YMCA, I want to be a successful athlete. And we used to watch Muhammad Ali movies and the Rockies and so on. So it's an inspiration by ourselves. And at the same time, and I had different opportunity to go different directions, but I focus on YMCA to stay in athleticism. And I want to be focusing on YMCA, and I keep working hard. And it wasn't easy. It was hard. It was. I'm speechless for that, what I passed through, but it wasn't easy to be an Olympic athlete, especially in Africa. It's not easy. I'm telling you, it's a hell workout. And 3 times a day is tough.
Yeah, and then to get seen and noticed and end up, qualifying and ending up being able to come to the Olympics in 1984 in Los Angeles. However, let's talk a little bit about what happened. Danny, I'm going to give that over to you because I'm sure that when you heard about his story, that because of politics, Zeb was not able to compete in those Olympics, which is heartbreaking. So tell me when you heard about that, what'd you think?
Yeah, I was blown. I mean, when Seb told me about how politics got involved with sport, I was kind of surprised, but also it's so similar to themes that ring true today, right? Every 4 years, we kind of feel this, Lake Placid Games and the Miracle on Ice, and we know about the Cold War, and I didn't know that the Cold War and the Red Scare was actually most pressing in Ethiopia and Africa. I didn't realize that the first coalition Soviet Union troops were actually in Ethiopia. There were Soviet Union and Cuban troops fighting a war in Eritrea. It was wild. That was all something I learned from Seb, and so that the experience of the documentary informed me because it happened before I was born. So I went down kind of those Wikipedia spirals and wormholes and finding information on it, and we interviewed a bunch of professors who actually experienced the Red Scare and were writing on it and wrote various books about it. One of the professors, Professor Edmund Keller, who's in the film, spoke firsthand about his experience, and it mirrored Seb's. Seb's dad was put in prison for political reasons, and so it's a lot of challenges that happened. And obviously, in 1980, the United States, we boycotted the Moscow Olympics. So we were saying, hey, because of the war in Afghanistan, which we all know about, and how that ultimately paid poor dividends for the United States because we helped the Taliban. Because of that boycott, when the Russians wanted to choose in 1984 our Olympics and it held in Los Angeles, they said, no, we don't feel safe, we're not coming. So it's really once again, the United States made the first bad move, and then in turn the Soviet Union boycotted. So Seb's opportunity was kind of cut short. But go
ahead, please.
Yeah, no, but the amazing thing is that through that, he was able to meet Dr. Rick Hodes, who found something wrong with his heart and ultimately led to, being here in the United States as a political refugee for the medical reason. So,
how did you feel, Seb? Why don't you describe for us how it felt when you found out after all these years of training, you wouldn't be able to compete in those Olympics because of politics?
This is really very sad. I mean, after that, when they told us, you guys are not going to Olympics. I mean, what did you do? We just we lived in a dark room. And just no light, no future, no hope. And just walking without faith, without goal. And we've been in the hotel for almost the year. We used to work out 3 times a day. And it's a hell workout that we've been doing. And everybody has a plan to come to the US, and some want to turn to professional boxers. and some want to show their talents, especially we have great runners too. So they have a good record in the world. So they just really, really disappointed. I mean, just like everybody, we cry, some of us, and there's nothing we can do about it. I mean, it's just very devastating. It's very sad. I mean, I feel like somebody, I feel like my mom, when I was a little kid, my mom, she passed away when I was 6th grade. And that's what I feel. That was my only dream. That's only I had hope. When I lost my mom, it's exactly that I feel that day when they told us we're not going. That's very sad.
Sure. It was a terrible loss. Mentally, how did you pick yourself up from that? And then what happened? Like, what transpired after that, since you couldn't compete then? Tell me the story after that.
Yes. After that, I was so desperate. Until then, nobody believed me, but I never touched alcohol, and I was so dedicated. I don't even junk, I don't even sugar. I'm so disciplined because I know if I win or if I finish the fight by point decision, I know they're not gonna give it to me because they know my background. I have 2 sisters, they live in the US. They're not gonna send it to me to the US. I have to finish my fighters, my opponents, by knockout, which is I did. And that was really tough dedication. Then when they told us we're not going, and I told all boxers we had after dinner, you know what, why don't you, let's collect $10, let's have a drink, and let's go to the bar. And we started going to the bar, everybody started drinking. And at the same time, was really my direction is shifting, just no hope. So I just started going different direction. At the same time, when I used to run, I had a really bad cough. I used to, full of blood, I used to cough from the punch that I received on my chest. Maybe they don't even find out what is the reason. And at the same time, I get stabbed in my back, and somebody stabbed my own knife on my back. I didn't even see the guy when he come, and it was terrible.
How did that happen? Whoa! You got stabbed in the back. So tell our audience who haven't seen the film, how did that happen? I mean, my God, it's just a series of horrible events. Yeah.
Yeah, it was very sad. The situation is just like I was sitting down. Someone is being hired to attack me. It was kind of different. So some people don't like me. Maybe I don't know, for some reason. I mean, I see like kind of maybe O.J. Simpson kind of case. Just somebody attacked me because I did somebody's girls. That doesn't make sense. If we sit down with a bunch of girls around me, maybe they may get jealous, and somebody, they come in and hit me in the back, and I didn't even notice. And I just, after that, my life is just shatters, just getting ground to zero. My level was high, spiritual strength, conditioning, and just down to the ground. It's just, I don't have anywhere to go after that. And
so, Danny,
yes.
Please,
and after that, it just, I have older sisters that she lives in out of state, and I would move to her house for quite a while. And in between, I had an exam. Before that, I had an exam with Dr. Rick, which I met him at. It's called Black Lion Hospital in Ethiopia. He was there for research, and I met him. And he said, "Okay, what happened? You look a strong guy. What happened to you?" And I just don't know, for some reason I stopped. When I running a long run, 10 kilometer, 11 kilometer, when I run, I started coughing blood. Well, let me check. And he checked. Okay, give me your address, and I'll send you to SA, and to have a medical treatment for you. You need to have a surgery for that. Okay. And I gave him my address, and I left. And that's what happened. And then
So, we talked on the phone earlier, and in a way, you were fortunate that you were an athlete because you were able to get the best medical training. And because they found an issue with your heart, you were then able to come to the United States at least to get that treatment, right? So yes. I guess that's one really good thing. Maybe they wouldn't have even found it. Imagine that. If you went to the Olympics, imagine they may not have ever found it. So maybe in this odd way, this was a blessing that they found it in Ethiopia. They were able to come to the U.S. and get your treatment. And I know you defected, but let me talk to Danny for a second. How did you tell his entire story? Did you go back to Ethiopia? I mean, I know the answer, but I'd like to tell our audience, how were you able to depict his story by filming it primarily here?
Yeah, we to answer your question, we didn't go back to Ethiopia. We mainly used source material and images from the past and photos from Seb's life to tell that portion of the story, and then also a lot of interviews. But yeah, I think part of the way we told it was through a cinema verite style doc, where we're kind of having Seb explain in a similar version as he is now. Sometimes if it's sitting on the stool where he'll be training people at the MMA gym or at a boxing gym. So it's telling these stories piece by piece. And for me, it was in a similar fashion. I would ask a question and I'd be like, what? Wait, hold on. What? You know what I mean? So that's sort of like, the record skips. You're like, wait, you got stabbed? Okay, let's talk about that. Let's explore that. So that was the method in which we kind of found each new piece of information. All I knew in the beginning was that there was a Cold War, an affected sport, and that Seb was one of those athletes. And I thought that was compelling enough. And I showed a sizzle reel to people at Sony Pictures where I was working at the time, and they said, continue following this. The footage looks great. The story's here, and he's one of thousands of athletes affected by politics and sport. That's very rare, and he wants to get back in the ring. You have a story. So and then everything else unfolded, and luckily we were able to connect with Rick Hodes, who ironically went from LA to Ethiopia and lived his whole life in Ethiopia, and Seb moved to LA. So this sort of flip-flop happened between he and his doctor, and they have a great connection to this day. They were Seb, wasn't Dr. Rick Hodes at your house a month ago or so, or a couple weeks ago?
Yeah, he was with me last month. He was with me for the 2 weeks. Yes.
Now, for people, wait a minute, who don't even know who that is, could you explain?
Yeah, Seb, go ahead. Dr. Rick Hodes.
Dr. Rick Hodes, he went to Ethiopia about 30-something years ago to Ethiopia for research, for his medical research,
Right.
for his specialist. I think he's specialized cardiologist, and he was there for a long time. Then he remained to stay in Ethiopia to help the Ethiopian kids, and he has orphanage, his own companies there. He worked for a long time in Ethiopia. So now he's back because of Corona. He back to Nashville. He lives in Nashville. So when he comes to Nashville, I mean, he lives 2 hours from my house. When he comes to Nashville, he stay in my house for 2 weeks, 1 week. Sometimes when he have vacation, he come and stay with me, and we talk and we discuss about his plan, what he wants to do. He's such a kind person, and he's my hero. Dr. Rick is very genuine person.
But the struggle, imagine anyone listening, because people who train, and I know, Danny, you were a baseball player in college, so you know what it's like to train, but training for the Olympics is a whole different animal, And imagine having to give that up. And then you get stabbed, and then you come here for treatment. And then I also know at the same time, Seb, you also lost your dad, and sadly, tragically, your sister. If you want to talk about that, please do. And let us know, how did you get through all that? Like, for people listening who just feel like they can't get to the next step, how did you do it? Because I know you're big on being an inspiring guy for other people, and you are, for me too.
Yeah, it's really what I see sometimes myself. I think it's like a fighter mentality that I had. That helps me a lot. I remember when I was a little kid, even when my mom, she passed away, I tried to kill myself. Even I don't have any hope. My dad was in prison, so I don't have anybody, only one mom. So I go through that. And when I get here also, it's just same thing happened. And just my dad passed away. My sister and my dad, they are very connection. That is, if my dad has passed away, I cannot live by myself. She killed herself the next day. And she committed for suicide. I'm the one I find her in the closet. She hung herself. It was so shocked. And still, the way she hung herself is my, it's my heart. I remember everything. wasn't easy. So here is what I want to tell for you audience that who watching our at this time. Anything anything comes to our life for a season. Okay, I want you to have a challenge. If you don't have a challenge, you cannot have a good life. Everything in our life has a challenge. You know, if you see truth, there is a lie. I mean, it's false, dark, light, you know, day and night. Everything has a challenge. In our life, we have to have a challenge to have a good life. Most of us will stay with a comfort zone. We don't like to have a challenge. Some of us are successful become our enemy. When you get a very successful, oh, I don't want to go there, then I'm fine. No, why you stay there? And this is the way I go through these problems is take me to the next level all the time. I lost my dad, I lost my sisters, I learned something. And I lose the fight, during the fight, when I box, when I lost the fight, why I lost the fight. I learned from that, how I'm not gonna do that again. And the next step, what is the next steps will be? I keep suffering for that, I keep going. And I get knocked down, I get up. And I'm not gonna stay on the floor, I get up. And I pass through so many problems in my life. This is helps for the people. That's what our documentary, I hope help turn around people's lives and to keep challenging themselves, stay strong during the suffering time. And there is a good beyond that. There is a good victory after that, after you suffer. And it really wasn't easy to pass that, but by God's grace, I get here.
That's the great part of this documentary film. First of all, it's beautifully shot, Danny. I'd love to know how long did this take you to do? I know you did most of it again in Los Angeles when Seb was living here, right? I know that you moved a few years ago to Nashville where you train and you've got your family, which is beautiful. And I know you're also a great inspiration to your kids. I loved seeing that part of the film too. That's why this is a very personal film. It's a beautiful film that anyone can relate to. The boxing may just be sort of the sport that happens to be highlighted in the film, but this is a film for and about anyone, really, right? Because as you said, Seb, we all struggle. We might not even look like we struggle, but we struggle, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's true.
Yeah,
Danny, go ahead, Danny.
That's a great question. I think that this film is, epitomizes you only lose when you quit, right? The mentality that we have to grind. There's a hustler mentality to Seb, the hedgehog mentality in some of these books they talk about from good to great. And Seb kind of he's more than just like a reflection of what we should do when we encounter adversity and obstacles in life. I think that he does it. He's very humble and also smiles and laughs through it. I mean, at one moment he can be talking about something so tragic as losing your father and your sister in 2 concurrent days, and then slap you with his mitt and make you laugh. So I mean, it's sort of he's, at least what I learned from filming so much, is that lives a blissful existence. He's in the present. He's in the now. And then as for shooting the film, we shot it from, let's say, 2013 all the way up until 2018, 2019. And Seb left right, I think, at the end of 2019 or beginning of 2020 to Nashville. So he dodged the pandemic. Way to go. Seb saw the field. He was able to predict that one. But I think the whole entire film, we shot about 100 days in Los Angeles at various boxing gyms and MMA, venues, from Saboba Casino all the way to the Ontario, hotel and CW Boxing. So it was an incredible experience, and we had a lot of footage that we whittled down with, obviously, our amazing editor, David Fish. We brought on a director of photography for some of the more cinematic scenes you'll see there, like some of the, the Raging Bull montage, tip of our cap to Raging Bull. That was with Alexander Davis, and we had obviously Ben Del Garcio, who was really instrumental in helping us shape some of the story. But Seb's incredible story it's hard to craft. Like, how do you tell so much in a short period of time, and then how do you cut away to what's currently happening? But we found a way to get it done, and it was so fun. It was my first thing, so it was like going through film school and learning about all of the things, lights, camera, action, and go for it. So now I feel like I'm, I just graduated and I'm ready to tell more stories, but I miss Seb. That's the bummer of it all. We finally finished the movie. I can't even go and take a class anymore. I'm like, what the heck am I doing this for?
Well, that's why I brought you guys together. You're together now on my podcast, right? It's like this film will bring everybody together. I'm absolutely convinced. And now with this whole COVID thing, hopefully starting to wean down a little bit, then you guys could see each other and you could take a couple more boxing classes.
I need it.
I'll bet you do. Seb, tell me about him as a boxer. Was he like okay, or tell me about him?
Johnny, he's kind of okay, but he assumed boxing is he played baseball really well, and he thinks his baseball is more tougher than the boxing. That's why he assumed. And when he comes down, I touch his face and turn it back your arm, and he dropped his arm. Keep you on Seb. He dropped his arm. His shoulders weak. I want you to keep you on Seb. He's not bringing back his arm fast. Tonight he used to hit him fast. So Danny's kind of. A little bit, strong young guy. But he's not fast like me. Then anyway.
I love the way you two get along. I love it. Now I can see why you worked together at Sony, and I can see you connected immediately, right? Why you wanted to do a film on this extraordinary man, Seb. You really are. How do you feel today, Seb, when the Olympics begin and there's the opening ceremony? How does that make you feel?
Yeah, when I see, especially the Olympic ceremony, when I see the opening ceremony, that's the most part, the genuine part. I love that part. And to walk in with the traditional clothes that we used to wear for when you walk into the Olympics, and with a flag, and to walk in all the stadiums, and with the whole world, different cultures, different language, and the atmosphere, the environment is so powerful. I just, the only thing that I miss that part. That's really always my dream was to walk into the stadium, the opening ceremony and the closing ceremony, the singers, the song that they're creating for that event. It's really, really, it's unforgettable. Olympic always is new for me. Every 4 years is new. Now this pandemic is affecting all. Can you imagine now? Before it was politics, now it's Corona affect the Olympics. They shut down last year. I mean, it's very sad. People was ready to go to Olympic. Now they have to go back to zero, and they have to start again. So when I see Olympics, sometimes, to be honest, I cry because my dream didn't come through. I was, just like, especially people compete. Especially our runners, they run, they go to gold medals, the national anthems, they sing in. It really, I'm more, I cry sometimes. My kids say, "Why are you crying, Daddy?" I just, with the Olympics, and I supposed to be there, but it didn't happen. So when I see Olympic, always I'm emotional. It's very, very unforgettable time that I've been in the Olympic team. Yeah.
Is there a particular fight or a particular moment or the time that you've been in the ring that really resonates with you, Seb? From when you were younger or even currently, just a particular fight that really sticks with you. Danny, go ahead. Thank you for raising your hand.
No, I'm just pointing. Oh, I'm just pointing to a photo. Sorry, Seb. I'm just.
Whoever wants to jump in. You want me to jump in? I'll jump in. Go ahead. Oh, go ahead.
Seb's amazing. Sorry, I was just pointing to Muhammad Ali. I was. Wow. Seb, after you.
Yeah, when you walk into the ring, you just something like you walk into your office. This is I grew up in people that used to say to me back home, anybody that if the dogs bite Seb, maybe you might get the gloves from his.
I like that.
Everybody, anywhere that I go, I walk with my gloves with the bike, and I see the ring is I see it like my office, and the same thing like you walk into your office, that's my office always. It's actually I wanna sit down at my computer and take the desk and computers and the desk computer, sit down in the office. This is my office from now on. That's what I want to do every day.
Well, go ahead.
I'm sorry.
I was going to say, if I ever come to your office, I'm going to bring my boxing gloves.
Yeah.
I'll be prepared.
Yeah. Yeah. When
Be
you walk
careful.
into
He
it,
might
it's
punch you
just-
back. He's rough.
Not
Yeah,
a fair
the peop-
fight, I'll tell you that. But go ahead, Seb.
Yeah. People come to see you. It's just like real, especially when you walk into the ring, as people come to see me, and I do nothing else, and that makes me proud. That makes me amazing. You know, just I think that after a hard workout, and people come to see your performance, and that makes me really happy. It doesn't matter if I win or lose; it just make me happy. People came to me to see me to fight. They pay to see my fight, and that makes me really amazed. And when I win, I'm successful. Make me more happy. And I see it like when I walk in, like that's my ring, that's my office, that's my home. When I walk in, I want to be like a lion. I want to be like a tiger, and just this is my office, this is my home. And always, even now, if any gym when I walk in now, still let the spirits come back again. This is I feel me very comfort. You know, just your office, this will make you comfort. The same thing like when I walk in to the ring, that make me more comfort. And that's what about it.
Danny, any parting words that you'd like to tell our audience about your experience and also about when and how they can get a hold of this film?
Yeah, no, just please go take a look at the film. I think it resonates now more than ever in such a unique time. The Olympics are coming up. It's a great way to get inspired for the 2021 Tokyo Olympics that are going to be held, the asterisk Olympics. I think these themes we can all relate to now more than ever. And if anyone feels, the need and is worried about harming themselves or others, please, call the resources. It's 1-800-273-TALK. That's one of the call to actions. And then Suffer for Good. Go to sufferforgood.com. We want you to endure the pain. Go through the pain. As Seb always says, push, push, push. You can do it. Suffer, suffer, suffer. You will suffer, and ultimately the fruit of your labor will be good. So you can watch it on all platforms: YouTube, Google, Amazon Prime. You know the deal. Vimeo Plus even. And please support us. We need all the ratings and reviews we can, so we can start tracking when we go to Vudu and all those ad-supported platforms. So thank you for your love. Deborah, you're amazing. Come on, what a poignant interview. You're just incredible. And I'm sorry if we talked over. I'm just so excited. It was fun. It was like a little boxing match.
Hang on. That's the fun part. When we talk over each other, it means we're passionate about what we're talking about, right? It's extraordinary. If we just sit here like talking heads, what's the point of that, right? Come on. No, I love it. Just keep talking over me. It's perfect. But again, you only lose, people, when you quit. And Danny, in particular, I really like that you reached out to people who may be struggling, because there's a lot of people out there who may be struggling. And Seb is a great example of someone who was strong enough to push himself through, but maybe you're not. So there's resources out there for you. That's why this is such a compelling film, a wonderful story. There's a little bit of all of us in Seb's story and in Danny's film. So gentlemen, thank you so much. I loved our interview. I love the two of you. You're amazing. Suffer for Good. Look it up on all social, and then look up Danny on all social, and also Seb. Good.
Beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having us.
Oh, it's a pleasure. You're both wonderful. And thank you, everybody, for joining us on Deborah Kobylt Live. You find us also everywhere on YouTube, Facebook, IGTV, and then, of course, on all audio podcast platforms. We then transferred over for that. So look up our name, and also Seb and Danny, and you'll find our show. It's pretty easy to find. So thank you, everyone.
Thanks so much. Thank you for having us.
Oh, wonderful. Day. And you have a blessed day, too, and a happy holiday to everybody.
Thank you.